Next up, I'm excited to announce we will have Wenonah.
Thank you, Haichka, Chimigwech, for this space they're offering me today. I want to give a trigger warning that my presentation today will speak about residential schools. So, mine is called Coming Home, a path towards repatriation. Ukki, nistu ni danako sikyayaki, nistu nitstis bigani. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wenonah North Peigan, and I am Blackfoot from the Bigani Nation in Treaty 7, and Anishinaabe from Musqueam unceded territory. It is an honor to present my policy project, Coming Home, which focuses on the repatriation of First Nations human remains, which I refer to as our ancestors, and their belongings. This work is deeply personal to me. I grew up in Mohkinstsis, in what is now known as Calgary, in my Blackfoot territory, where the land holds the story of my ancestors. My Blackfoot name, Sikyayaki, means Black Bear Woman, and was passed down from my great-grandfather, Charlie Crow Eagle. Growing up, I knew I was Blackfoot and Anishinaabe, but I didn't fully understand what it meant to belong to the land. As I've gotten older, I've come to recognize the profound significance of this connection and the urgency of repatriation as a way of reclaiming our identity and honoring where we come from and the land our feet walk on. Throughout my life, I have experienced what it means to walk between worlds, navigating both Indigenous and settler colonial spaces. I've seen how our belongings, histories, cultures, and ancestors are too often dismissed or treated as artifacts by institutions. This only deepens my commitment to this project. It is not just about the physical repatriation, but also about healing and restoring our cultural integrity. The issue of repatriation is deeply personal and urgent for First Nations communities. Our ancestors and cultural belongings have been taken without our consent, exploited, and sold across the globe. The discovery of the 215 ancestors at Kamloops Indian Residential School in 2021 brought this harsh reality into the public spotlight. Yet, the repatriation efforts since then have lacked clear, accountable policies that align with First Nations perspectives and legal rights. My policy project advocates for a transformative approach to repatriation grounded in the principles of UNDRIP, the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, and built on the foundation of First Nations self-determination. This is not just about returning physical items, but also about restoring our dignity, identity, and cultural integrity. Grounded in academic research, government reports, and my lived experience as a Blackfoot and Anishinaabe woman, the following recommendations are critical and non-negotiable for creating effective repatriation policies. They are aligned with the principles of UNDRIP to uphold self-determination and ensure that repatriation efforts are both meaningful and transformative. So my following recommendations are: 1, to have First Nations involvement at all stages; 2, to increase government funding for First Nations to engage in repatriation projects; 3, a coordinated government approach, so meaning that all levels of government and all ministries within those government work together to advance repatriation; and 4, have a mandate for museums and institutions, so they must meet a repatriation criteria that aligns with UNDRIP, or else they wouldn't be government funded; and then 5, to shift the language and policy. So instead of using terms like heritage or property and our artifacts, using terms that would instead reflect First Nations perspective. Our cultural items are not just objects. They embody our living traditions, spiritual practices, and identity. So, finally, repatriation is about healing. It is about bringing our ancestors home, and in doing so, restoring our identity, dignity, and cultural sovereignty. This work requires not only the support of government policies, but also a collective commitment from all of us to respect and honor First Nations rights, traditions, and way of life. So, thank you, Chimigwech and Haitsepka, to the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations, on whose ancestral and unceded territories we're gathering today. Your stewardship of these lands since time immemorial is acknowledged with deep respect. Thank you also to the Vancouver Foundation, the Level Youth Policy Program staff, mentors, alumni, and elders. Your wisdom, guidance, and unwavering support has been instrumental in shaping this project. The tireless advocates and organizations working towards repatriation and their belongings are paving the way for a more culturally respectful future. And my family, my dad, my mom, and Nicole, who are probably watching online, and my friends, peers, and communities, your love, encouragement, and belief in me have been my strength to this journey. Finally, this project is dedicated to the ancestors who have returned and those still on their journey home. May your spirit guide us in the sacred work of reclaiming our cultural heritage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wenonah. And next.